Greetings and good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Classic Album War. Today we're going to continue on our week of classic double albums. Okay, this week and this week only, starting next week, right after the Labor Day weekend here in the US of A, we've got the start of Classic Live Album War. Okay, and that's going to go on for about a month or so. We'll see how long it takes us. But let's finish up our double album wars here this week. Today we're going to look at two albums from two enormous acts, two of probably the original, there were a few of them, but two of the original power trios, each band featuring a legendary guitar hero, arguably two of the most popular and finest electric guitarists that kind of played in rock and blues in the 1960s. Each album again released in 1968. And each was their third studio set. Of course, we're talking about Cream's Wheels of Fire, and in the other corner, Jimi Hendrix Experience, Electric Ladyland, right? So let's start with the Cream album. So we've got two slabs of vinyl, right? One LP in the set, all new studio material. The other, live material from the Fillmore. Of course it's from the Fillmore, right? Where else would it be? It's amazing how many classic live recordings we have from either the Fillmore West or the Fillmore East from the late 60s, early 70s. Just uncanny. A great album, okay? You know, Cream and the Jimi Hendrix Experience never had a lot of studio releases, okay? Neither band was around for too long, all right? Hendrix a little bit longer, okay? We've got a wealth of posthumous releases from the Hendrix estate, all sorts of things that he was kind of recording the last 2 years of his life. So we've had a wealth of material to come out since his passing, and a ton of live stuff, right? With Cream, not quite so much, right? But some pretty solid studio albums and some really good live material. So kicking off disc one here, which is the first two LPs, or first two sides of the first LP, in this double album set. You've got, of course, White Room, a classic Cream track filled with Eric Clapton guitar work on the wah-wah, using the wah-wah pedal, right? Of course, Eric Clapton, Ginger Baker, Jack Bruce, a formidable lineup, all right, who, as great as they were on album, if you listen to any of the live recordings, or if you were the age where you got to see Cream live, man, I wish I could have seen that back in the day. They cooked live. All right, it doesn't get much better. You know, Clapton was in his kind of guitar god phase. Nothing like the Clapton guitar playing from the John Mayall Blues Breakers, Cream, Blind Faith, Derek and the Domino days, right? Specifically the Cream days. And you've got Jack Bruce and Ginger Baker, one of the best rhythm teams ever. Each guy in this band, a complete virtuoso. So back to the album. White Room, Sitting on Top of the World. Great bluesy rock tune, okay? Passing the Time. As You Said, okay? The kind of whimsical Pressed Rat and Warthog. The killer kind of, it's bluesy, it's rocking, it's kind of majestic Politician, all right? Very cool tune. Great vocal from Jack Bruce, nice guitar riffs in that. Those Were the Days. Kind of like an emotional, poignant, bluesy tune. I like that one a lot. It's got a little drama to it. Born Under a Bad Sign. Great rendition of that song. Killer. They would play that live, take it to, another level. And in fact, there have been a lot of great renditions of Born Under a Bad Sign over the years. That's such a, if you're a kind of a bluesy rock band and you want to play a cool cover and really let it rip, Born Under a Bad Sign is definitely a tune to pick. What else? And Deserted Cities of the Heart, which is one of my favorite tunes off of this album. Another really, really killer track. And then over on disc 2, which is the Live at the Fillmore stuff, so of course this is sides 3 and 4 of the original LP set, you've got the incredible Crossroads, another one of the standout tracks from here, just a killer tune. Spoonful, that's another old bluesy tune that, man, if you're out playing live and you're into playing some, rock and blues, man, you want to launch into something that could take you 10, 15, 20 minutes, do Spoonful. Train Time, and then Toad, of course, which is a vehicle for a lengthy Ginger Baker drum solo. So great studio stuff, great live stuff, pretty hot album, right? So on the other end of the ring coming in at 175 pounds. This is a light heavyweight fight. We've got Electric Ladyland. All right, from the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Like I said, their third studio album, and a mighty fine one. A really cool album that saw Jimmy and Eddie Kramer really utilize all of the different tricks they can do in the studio. There's all sorts of weird sound effects and tape looping and manipulations and amazing guitar work, and Jimmy using all sorts of different effects pedals and things like that. Really cool stuff, and there's a whole cast of characters that appears on the album, which I'll get into in a minute. But basically, we've got Jimmy, Mitch Mitchell, and Noel Redding. Okay, Mitch on drums, Noel Redding on bass. We've got And the Gods Made Love. Have You Ever Been to Electric Ladyland? Okay, Crosstown Traffic, great funk rock song. There have been a lot of bands over the years. I'm talking post 1970s. Who have dabbled in kind of like funky rock, funky hard rock. But man, Jimmy made a living doing that way before anybody else. What else? You got the lengthy Voodoo Child. And remember, there's two kind of related tunes on here. This is the more bluesy one. Then you got Little Miss Strange, Long Hot Summer Night, Come On, Let the Good Times Roll. Great tune there. Gypsy Eyes. I love Gypsy Eyes. One of my favorite tunes on here. The Burning of the Midnight Lamp. Cool song. Rainy Day, Dream Away. Another excellent tune. 1983, A Merman I Should Turn to Be. Lengthy psychedelic piece. A lot of really cool bits of psychedelia on this album. Moon, Turn the Tides. Gently, Gently Away. Again, more psych from Jimmy with a little bluesy tone. Still Raining, Still Dreaming, probably next to Voodoo Child, Slight Return, my favorite tune on this album. I love Jimmy's use of the wah wah. The groove in that song, all right? And it's just like a great funky little rocker, man. I love it. House Burning Down. All on the Watchtower, of course, his legendary take on the Bob Dylan song, which, again, harping back to those cover tunes done better than the originals. That's one of mine, right? And then the epic Voodoo Child, Slight Return, okay, which is, for all intents and purposes, you got some early cranking heavy metal going on there, right? That's Jimmy at his raucous, fiery, fuzz-laden, best. Man, it's mayhem going on in that particular tune. All right, so we talked about, who else appeared on this album other than the three guys in the band. So we got Chris Wood, okay, from Traffic on flute. What else? Freddie Smith on saxophone. Steve Winwood on Hammond organ on Voodoo Child. Not Voodoo Child. Mike Finnegan on organ on Rainy Day, Dream Away, Still Raining, Still Dreaming. Al Cooper on piano. Dave Mason, 12-string guitar, backing vocals on a couple tracks. Jack Cassidy, bass on Voodoo Child. Okay, Jack Cassidy, of course, from the Jefferson Airplane and Hot Tuna. Buddy Miles, drums on Rainy Day, Dream Away, Still Raining, Still Dreaming. Of course, Jimmy would work extensively with Buddy Miles going forward. Larry Fawcett on congas. Brian Jones, yes, that Brian Jones, percussion on All on the Watchtower, and backing vocals on Burning of the Midnight Lamp from the Sweet Inspirations. Okay, and of course, like I mentioned earlier, Eddie Kramer and Gary Kellgren working with Jimmy on producing, engineering the album. So, a pretty groundbreaking album as far as, a lot of things, studio techniques and guitar techniques and all that kind of stuff. Really strong tunes on both albums, right? You could arguably say this is kind of like the best of both worlds for Cream because you got some killer studio tracks and some blistering live cuts. Right. Well, this is Jimmy, at his most experimental, I think, and it really works. So what's my verdict here in this light heavyweight? Actually, these are heavyweights, as far as the artists themselves go. But what do I think? Well, I really love Cream a lot, and you know where this is going, right? I really love Cream a lot, and I think they were one of the best power trios of all time. Just groundbreaking, inspirational band that inspired so many other bands in their wake. But man, this is Jimi Hendrix we're talking about here. I have grown to really love this album over the years, And it's one of those albums that has so many different styles and textures going on there. You discover something new every time you listen to this. And quite frankly, any album that's got Voodoo Child, Slight Return, All on the Watchtower, Still Rain, Still Dreaming, Crosstown Traffic, Gypsy Eyes, you get the picture, right? Sorry, Cream. This is a late 10th round knockout. Okay, the Jimi Hendrix Experience reigns supreme here against a valiant challenger in Cream, Wheels of Fire. But, both legendary albums. Curious to see what you guys think. All right, we got a well-fought battle going on the poll on the Facebook page. It's pretty damn close. Jimmy is leading the pack, but Cream is putting up a good fight. So curious to see what you guys think, which album you prefer and why. Remember, there's no losers here. Both albums are great for a reason. We know we all love them both. So this is really just an excuse to talk about really cool albums that might be somewhat related. Okay, here they came out in the same year. They're both double albums, both two legendary guitar players, right? Two power trios, third release from both, right? Why not? And actually, this particular matchup has been requested by a handful of people over the last couple of weeks. So, there is that. So, we all like what we like, so tell us which one you prefer. Like I said, I'm going to go with Jimi Hendrix here, but I do love this album a lot too, and in the end, it doesn't really matter. They're both two fantastic albums, and this is just an excuse to talk about them, right? And revel and enjoy their greatness. And if you've never heard either one of these, I find that hard to imagine that anybody watching this channel has never heard either one of these. But if there's a chance you haven't, now's a perfect time to go listen to them. And if you're well familiar with these, but maybe you haven't heard them in a while, perfect time to go pop them in, right? So this is on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube every damn day. Tune in for more Classic Album War tomorrow morning. All right, but don't touch that dial. We got an extra special top 10 songs coming up within moments. My favorite 10 tracks and a lot of honorable mentions from the mighty Government Mule. You don't want to miss it. So stay tuned. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.